2,000 UFO sightings were reported in the first half of 2025. Yeah. So according to data from the National UFO Reporting Center, the 2,174 sightings mark an increase from 2024.
New at 4, mystery in the sky. An American Airlines pilot had a close call over the weekend, and even now, it's still not clear what exactly it was. Fox 46 Chief Transportation Correspondent Hawker Vanguard is live at Charlotte Douglas International Airport. So the question everyone is asking, Hawker, was this a UFO?
Yeah, Paige, by definition, this was an unidentified flying object, but if I were you, wouldn't be calling Mulder or Scully at this point. But American Airlines Flight 2292 was going to be flying over the Gallup area in New Mexico. That's southeast of the Gallup.
Have any targets up here? We just had something go right over the top of us that, I hate to say this, looked like a long cylindrical object. It almost looked like a cruise missile type of thing moving really fast that went right over the top of us.
Well, it sounds like we kind of got cut off there, but they were talking to Albuquerque Air Traffic Control at the time. They were just southeast of Gallup, New Mexico. That pilot you heard there was asking Air Traffic Control if they had any other objects on their radar screen there. That was the mention of targets you heard. So if we go to a map, that location southeast of Gallup would be important because located just a short distance from there is Launch Complex 96 at Fort Wingate. That's part of the White Sands Missile Range run by the military. They test single and double stage missiles there that cruise at very high altitudes, Paige.
And we heard the pilots describe what it was as long and cylindrical, which sounds like what you just said they potentially launched there at least. I know you made some calls today. Did you hear anything back?
The Department of Defense hasn't gotten back to me yet, so nothing official, but I did my own poking around and I found this. I went to skyvector.com. That's a website that pilots use for flight planning purposes. And if you look over the Gallup and Fort Wingate area today, you can see that red circle, which denotes a TFR or temporary flight restriction. It goes from the surface to 11,000 feet. That means pilots should not pass through that area. In fact, this is labeled as a flight hazard, Page.
All right, Hawker Vanguard, live for us this afternoon from Charlotte Douglas International Airport. Thank you, sir.
All right, I have a serious question for you. If you saw a UFO, would you tell anyone? What if you were a high-profile politician? Would you admit it? Or would you be silenced by the stigma that often accompanies such out-of-these-world tales? Well, a lawmaker who would eventually become the 39th president, who you see right here with his lovely wife of the United States, reported his own encounter, and the reaction actually may surprise you. So Chief Transportation Correspondent, pilot, and self-proclaimed space geek, Maykay Beeler, is here to be able to talk about all this. When I saw the story, Maykay, I was so just engrossed in this to think of Jimmy Carter and a possible UFO sighting.
A lot of people don't know this. So, I was surprised too. So yeah, the late former President Jimmy Carter saw a color-changing UFO in Georgia back in 1969. His willingness to discuss it leaves behind a unique legacy of openness about UFO sightings. Carter's personal encounter happened outside a Lions Club in Leary, Georgia. He was with a group of about 24 witnesses who all saw a bright orb changing colors from blue to red to white. Now, according to his reports and History.com, the orb moved toward and away from the crowd, stopped, then disappeared behind pine trees. Carter said the object was self-illuminated, not solid in nature. It was in view for about 12 minutes before it passed out of sight. Now, when Carter was governor in 1973, he filed an official report with the International UFO Bureau. He spoke freely about the encounter and even promised during his 1976 presidential campaign that he would release all government information if he was elected.
All right, so when he was elected, did he release any secret government information? I think that's the big question we want to find out.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm so surprised that he came forward with it.
I know.
Yeah.
Well, no, he didn't.
No secrets?
No, he backed away from his pledge, citing, listen to this, security concerns and defense implications.
See,
Now,
that's
what
what-
does that tell you?
You're right. So, okay, so was there ever an investigation into what was the so-called UFO was?
Yeah.
Okay.
So a family member, a Carter family member, actually did some research, and this is what he came up with. He discovered or decided it was likely from the release of a glowing chemical cloud produced by rockets launched from Eglin Air Force Base in Florida. Now, some of these sodium and barium chemical clouds apparently were visible by the scattering of sunlight as far away as Leary, Georgia, appearing around the same time of the sighting. And a copy of this report is at the Jimmy Carter Library.
Wow.
I know.
This is incredible. So did it leave a personal impact for you?
It did for President Carter. So let me tell you what he said. He is quoted as saying, "One thing's for sure, I will never make fun of people who say they've seen unidentified objects in the sky." And check this out. Carter left a message cast to the cosmos in 1977. So USA reports in a message that was sent in space along with recordings of Earth's music, languages, and images. Carter left a message on a golden record launched on the space probe Voyager 1, saying in part, once we get our problems worked out, we hope to join a community of galactic civilizations. And the message continues to travel today on Voyager 1 beyond our solar system.
This is one of the coolest stories ever. But I mean, but it goes to show you back then, you think it was kind of strange to say, hey, I saw a UFO. Now it almost seems like these conversations are happening, but then you always find out, okay, what was it?
And there's still stigma associated with it. Like,
right.
what are you, nuts? What are you, crazy?
Right.
Let's just say it was a cloud.
Yeah. So if you saw something, would you actually tell somebody, McKay?
Yes.
You would. She would tell me, because we sit next to each other.
That's right.
It is 7:14. Welcome back. Have you ever seen a UFO? Would you admit it even if you had? Chances are you, or maybe someone you know, has seen some type of unidentified flying object or unidentified anomalous phenomena, UAP, as they are now called.
Yeah, that's much easier to say, right? Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot McKay Beeler joining us now with a new report, McKay, that's revealing UFO sightings are up in 2025.
Yeah, so the thought of flying saucers hovering over your house makes your skin crawl. Brace yourself. Okay, so over 2,000 UFO sightings were reported in the first half of 2025, yeah. So according to data from the National UFO Reporting Center, the 2,174 sightings mark an increase from 2024, when the agency logged nearly 1,500 sightings between the beginning of January and the end of June. Now, according to News Nation, reports come from all walks of life, everyday people, as well as air traffic controllers, police, and military. The National UFO Reporting Center is a nonprofit. It collects reports of UFOs, investigates cases of unexplained sightings. Officials with the agency say due to the stigma associated with sightings, most people are tight-lipped. Only 5% of sightings get reported.
Wow, okay, that is
I
interesting.
know.
All right, so of that 5%, 2,000, whatever the number happens to be, how many of those end up being credible?
So the National UFO Reporting Center, they investigate all of these reports to the best of their ability. And they say that only about 3% are of high interest. That means, okay. Other sightings turn out to be drones, balloons, planes, stars, and other explainable objects.
Okay, so that makes sense. Is the spike in sightings responsible for a peak in public interest, do you think?
What do you think?
I think so. I think that we're talking about it more, so maybe people are looking up at the skies, or they're like, okay, maybe there isn't the stigma associated with it, and I can report it without being judged or thinking that I'm a
Tell
loony
us
bin.
about your experience. Okay. So yes, and this has prompted congressional hearings, right? In the past couple of years, brought attention to unexplained sightings and perhaps cover-ups. All right, the Pentagon insists there's no evidence that unexplained sightings are extraterrestrial in nature and dismisses the existence of a UFO retrieval program. And some former government officials, well, they allege the Defense Department has not been truthful with the public or Congress about UFOs. And listen to this, the Wall Street Journal reports the Pentagon may be behind long-standing rumors of alien technology as part of efforts to cover up Earth-based military top secret programs.
So double
Very interesting.
Potential double trickery there. So obviously this is very interesting. And if this piques your curiosity, May-Kay, you have an original program, of course, on QCN Plus called We Are Not Alone. It's available to watch anytime. You can download the apps on your smart TV, or it's free on YouTube. And what have you got coming up?
So just today, this afternoon, I've got a great interview we're going to air tomorrow. The head of MUFON, Mutual UFO Network, actually the head of the media department there, and of MUFON Television, they vet all the information on UFOs, and I'll be talking to him. MUFON is the world's largest and oldest civilian UFO investigation and research network. New episode tomorrow. I'm going to preview it right here on the morning show.
All right.
You won't want to. This stuff is fascinating. Whether you believe or not, it is fascinating.
No, it is, yeah.
You know, you got to open your mind.
Well, and UFO, most people think, well, UFO means the saucer with an alien.
Yeah.
It just means we saw something, we just don't know what it is.
We can't explain it.
So, yeah, I'm sure with technology, like I've got friends that have like night vision binoculars that can record. You know, some people just like that kind of stuff.
Yeah, why not?
But you would have not been able to see stuff 20, 30 years ago.
Right.
And now it's just easier to look at whatever's flying up there.
Exactly. So stay tuned.
All right. Looking forward to that. May-Kay.
A new documentary says the United States has been secretly working to capture UFOs and aliens for nearly 80 years.
The American people are ready to receive the truth.
Humanity is not the only intelligence in the universe.
Humanity is not the only intelligent species.
We are absolutely not alone. Non-human intelligence exists.
UAPs are real, they're here, and they're not human.
That clip is from the upcoming documentary, The Age of Disclosure. It delves into the reported efforts from the U.S. government to collect any information on aliens and their visits to our world. And joining me now to talk a little bit about it, Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot herself, May-Kay Beeler. May-Kay, can we handle the truth first? And we're not talking about the cliche of the green little men, but it's rather something known as what he was talking about, the UAPs. Describe that.
Yeah, so UAPs, of course, are the new UFOs. It's the government's new definition. You know, aerial phenomenon. So are we ready for the truth? When you look at the condition of the world today, I don't know. It's hard for us to handle what's going on in politics.
Might be another good distraction from everything,
might be a great,
too, right?
There is
to rally everyone.
Yeah, and Brian, there's an appetite for answers. 1.6 million people watched that trailer, and the documentary will be available soon, and a lot of information in there that we'll be watching.
So this new documentary, which talks to the various high-ranking officials, including you have the former director of national intelligence, James Clapper, who was under President Obama, and he says the government has taken a lot of out-of-date approach here to disclosing the information about the UAPs.
Well, there are claims from 34 senior U.S. officials who say, they swear, they claim that the government has covered up non-human intelligence, aliens, for 80 years. And the folks that are coming forward now immediately will be discredited. They can have the most stellar background, highly intelligent security clearances, and they're immediately discredited. And death threats. Well, if it's not true, why bother to discredit them?
It's a whole age of misinformation, but it seems like it's a softening of letting out this information as well. But former U.S. Air Force Airman Jacob Barber, he testified last year before the lawmakers and recently talked with News Nation about his work on some of these government operations, specifically something he calls the range. Take a listen.
A lot of the work we did was on what I call the range, where the U.S. government and its private partners use to test all kinds of things, weapon systems and resilience to weapon systems of certain craft. And so you see a lot of exciting things.
We have people like Barber and other officials who say the stigma around aliens and UFOs, that could be a national security threat because Americans, they're not prepared for these developments, and that could change the course of humanity right now.
Right, and he has seen things that hard for us to understand. Actually transporting UAPs or UFOs, what did he see? And military pilots know a lot about this that we don't know. I invite you to open your mind and just see what you think about this. It's kind of mind-blowing, I'll say that.
Yeah, and you know, you hear a lot of pilots that are talking about it, commercial pilots. You're a pilot. Have you ever seen anything while you've been flying?
I hate to disappoint you. People ask me that all the time. I've been flying for 40 years, thousands of hours. I haven't seen anything. However, I know pilots who have. And I'll tell you quickly, many, many years ago, a TWA pilot told me, commercial airline pilot, that he saw a huge ship. And he asked ATC, what is that? What is that? They didn't have it on radar. And then underneath the ship he thought it was a mothership. There were about 20 UFOs that came out from that. This is not a man who would make up stories. I never forgot that. He's not with us anymore. He's passed on, but yeah.
You just gave me some little bit of chills thinking about that. And that's something
these
you
people
see
have
in the
no reason
movies
to make
type
up
of
the
thing.
stories.
Yeah.
Astronauts have reported stuff.
Yeah.
If you research it, it'll open your mind and you make up your mind what's going on. It's mind-blowing.
Makes her a great talker, too.
It does.
Well, all right, May K. Beeler, thanks.
Welcome back. Time is 8:47. It's one of history's greatest UFO mysteries. In July 1940-something, something fell from the sky in Roswell, New Mexico. That's where a rancher discovered mysterious metallic debris on his land. The recovery process would become the basis for conspiracy theories which launched the modern-day so-called government cover-up of the extraterrestrial phenomenon referred to as the truth embargo. Was the strange stuff remains of a crashed extraterrestrial spacecraft with alien bodies, a military balloon, or something else?
So many questions. Chief Transportation Correspondent, pilot, and host of the Queen City News Plus original program, We Are Not Alone, introduces us to an expert in her latest episode who takes us, May K, on a deep dive into the Roswell incident.
Yes. Do you believe in conspiracy theories of the cosmic kind? Well, that mysterious debris at Roswell was initially described by military officials as a flying disc. Then an immediate 180. Officials changed their tune, announcing it was just a weather balloon. So here we are, 80 years later almost. It's an enduring mystery fueled by initial confusion and secrecy surrounding Project Mogul. That centered around the so-called weather balloon, its mission to allegedly spy on Soviet nuclear sites. If anyone has a clue what the truth is, it may be Christopher Johnston. He's a renowned trial attorney with a unique perspective on the subject. Now, look, whether you are a believer of the UAP phenomenon, a skeptic, or on the fence, this lawyer and lifelong ufologist turned author offers food for thought in his book, Roswell, The Truth on Trial. The evidence speaks, you decide. In my interview on We're Not Alone, Johnston offers insight from his years of research. Do you believe that there's like a secret society or there are officials within the government or some power that's hiding information that will perhaps disclose what's going on and let us know?
Whether that group exists or not, a bit above my pay grade, I can tell you my opinion on disclosure. It's going to happen, and it's not going to come through the U.S. government. I don't buy it. We're too tight-lipped. There's too much of a control issue.
Oh, I saw your mouth wide open when he said it's not going to come from the government.
Because here we talked earlier in the show that there are people who are convinced that President Trump is going to tell us the secrets, that he's going to spill the beans that he knows. Maybe he doesn't know.
And he'd be the president who
it's the president who's
unsealed the
yeah. So we will see. But this is a very interesting gentleman. He's an attorney, contributing member of the Mutual UFO Network, a background in astrobiology and space law. It's interesting. So tune in. The latest episode of We Are Not Alone. It's streaming now on Queen City News Plus. You can also watch it on our YouTube channel, Queen City News.
Ooh, I like it. Watch it, turn the lights out, have some popcorn, some ethereal music. I like where it's going. All right, May K, thanks.
Thank you.
What do you know about UFOs or UAPs? Historians say they go back thousands of years with descriptions that can be interpreted as flying saucers in the Old Testament. Modern generations know them as fodder for science fiction stories, and experiencers who claim to have had close encounters swear they are piloted by aliens. But what are they really?
Yeah, Chief Transportation Correspondent and pilot May K. Beeler, also the host of our original program, We Are Not Alone, joins us now with a preview of this week's new episode streaming on Queen City News Plus. May K, what do we have for us?
This is a good one. So Michael Schratt is an esteemed military aerospace historian who's been investigating UFO encounters for over 28 years. Yes, he has analyzed and reviewed at least 50,000 cases. Yes, 50,000. All right. As a leading expert known for his meticulous research, in an effort to preserve an important part of our national history, Michael has recreated dozens of highly credible UFO cases by the use of these captivating renderings. Take a look, and commissioned artwork. Many of these cases include actual extraterrestrial encounters and cases that have never seen the light of day. In our interview, he talks about an encounter with military service members who experienced something on the aircraft carrier, the USS FDR. Take a listen.
He said that he could see humanoid-looking beings, more than one, plural, walking back and forth between these windows. And then he said, this is the interesting part, one of them raised its hand above its head and was waving to the naval personnel back down below.
Wow. Yeah, so this is just a snippet of the compelling interview that will challenge your understanding of the hidden history of advanced tech government cover-ups and information that has long eluded congressional oversight and public scrutiny. What do you think?
I mean, you've always said you got to have an open mind.
Yeah.
And to those who swear by whatever encounter it was, or
Jason always says the same thing.
I do. What I'm, it's one of those things. To those who it's happened to, you swear by your life that it is just as real as this desk is here. And for those that don't, are kind of like see it as far-fetched, like, I don't know about that. It's it's hard to tell.
I just keep on thinking about if I was one of the people who experienced it and then it was my truth, how hard I would try to convince everybody, I'm not crazy, it happened to me, it's real. Open mind.
We are not alone on YouTube and streaming on Queen City News Plus right now. We are not alone. Check out the episode.
There you go.
Queen City News Plus. Just search Queen City News on your smart TV's app store.